taking a really long time now. Okay. Not gonna L feels a bit weird that when you pop up chat, this thing is still here, and then you have to horizontally scroll, and it doesn't even think that, well, probably chat is going to be here or something of that sort. It's a really weird decision on the part of designing YouTube Studio, and it's one more part of why you shouldn't stream on YouTube. Maybe if I have like 100,000 subscribers, I'll start streaming on Twitch. But I don't know. I don't get the money either way, so it doesn't matter that much. Okay. So the chat is always on top. I'm always going to be seeing it. That is great. So the thing of today, first of all, let's move it a bit to the right and then make it a bit smaller. And yeah, like this, I think. Yes, that sounds good to me. Okay, so today I'm trying out fonts. I've been exclusively using Consoles ever since I started programming. Like, seriously, I did not even try different fonts. I was like, no. You know what I can do? And I didn't even kind of realize it. I can make this... Oh, I thought I could. I thought I could make the window even taller so I only see the chat and I don't see this thing because I'm not going to be typing in chat, or so I think. Okay, so I already tried out a bunch of fonts. Before we go, I have to close my diary. That was the file that I used to check out like actual text. So right now, currently, what I have enabled is JetBrains Mono. And it's a pretty good font. The symbols look very reasonable, as well as the ligatures, which I really like. I used to use Code ligatures, and more specifically, only the ligatures of Code, while actually using Consoles as the font. And I wasn't like a super fan of them, probably because the ligatures and the font itself didn't align, that I didn't realize. But in JetBrains, they actually look very good. And I like the brackets, how they form into an O almost. Feels really nice. The @ symbol is very nice. So these brackets are like, they kind of look like boobs. Basically, I like the symbols. I have no issue with them. What I do have an issue with is the text. I wonder if I have any actual text, maybe something like music. Not too good. Aside from diary, I don't really have loads of text all in one place, but maybe I do and I just don't remember. Consumed favorites, copy pastas is actually very good. It doesn't look bad, like, don't get me wrong. Just for text, it feels a bit off. It doesn't feel like I'm typing in text. It feels like I'm typing in code still. So for code, it's quite good. For text, I don't think it is. So let me show off the other fonts that I tried out. I wonder how I can do this. Can I like add a comment here? No? Really? That's so terrible. Like, you have no comments, and turns out you can't do something like this, so you can just easily swap out fonts. No, it has to be a string, which I find very stupid. Okay. Well, in that case, let's put it here. So this is Meslo LGM. And immediately as I changed it, you probably noticed that, oh, fuck, this looks kind of worse. And I would agree with you, but the thing that I really like about this font is how much the symbols stand out. So the dot especially is very, almost bold. It's not actually, but almost. The commas are very good. And overall, all the symbols I like very much. And I thought I liked the text. But if I start looking, I realize that it's kind of like, it's kind of goofy looking. It feels like it's not anti-aliased, even though it should be. Well, not quite, but basically it feels like it is very rough and is not smooth, which other fonts were able to do, including consoles, believe it or not. But when we look at text, I think it looks better, like actually, than JetBrains. This looks like a bit more like text rather than code, but code looks worse for it. Okay, let's try out Robotomono. So that one, naturally, I tried out before. How do I do this? Let's VF. First of all, let's toggle. I have so many things to turn on once I start streaming that I often don't remember everything. Okay, so let's see what Robotomono is like. It doesn't look like it changed, but it did. So it's a very like round font. And when we look at code now, yeah, fuck, like this looks very good. Like the words I like far more than JetBrains. But is there something that you notice about this? The symbols are now ridiculously small. So small, you can barely see this period. Commas are terrible too. I can see myself not noticing missing a comma. So say this is a space and we didn't have lintic for some reason. Like, let's imagine that. I could see myself not noticing it because it's so damn small. And also, you see how the brackets are made. At first I liked it. They feel very spacious if there's nothing in them. But then I noticed that they don't really form an oval or a circle. They form like an eye shape, and the more I looked at it, the less I liked it. So here the symbols are, I'm gonna say, very bad. Like, that comma is so unnoticeable compared to like every other font. And to add to that, you can see that the semicolon with the equal sign is kind of goofy. The equal sign is a bit to the top rather than being aligned with the colon. This one looks pretty okay to me, but no ligatures. Well, ligatures, like, I wouldn't mind, but it's not like a deciding factor for me. So JetBrains naturally has ligatures, Robotomono doesn't, MesloGM doesn't, Consolas doesn't, Hack I think doesn't as well. I don't know, this font looks really weird to me. Yeah, I agree, and well, at least for me, it's because of the symbols. Even the quotes are super small. But the text itself, we can see by seeing an actual text, I like it more. If we somehow ignore all the symbols, I really like the text. But yeah, no ligatures, which once again, to me is not a big issue. The big issue is that now the star symbol is suddenly huge. Maybe in comparison, maybe overall, but you see this tiny comma and humongous star sign. Very weird font, which I don't see myself using. Okay, let's go to hack the first font that I liked over Consoles, and it's not there anymore. You'll see why. Okay, so first of all, let's look at text. Looks pretty good to me. What was my issue? Right, I remember what was my issue with this font, because I'm looking at this like right now and like, what do I mean? Like, this looks like very good. But let's find a certain character. Right, 0. I despise this 0. It looks very ugly to me. I'm not even a fan of a dot inside of the 0. I like slash, but this like almost completely filling, but not quite, symbol that's in that 0 is just, I hate it so much that actually made me stop using this font. And everything else here I actually like a lot. And there's another symbol that I quite dislike in this, and it's the it's the exclamation mark. It just kind of looks unfinished, rough on the edges, I guess. Maybe it has an alternative for some characters like 0. In Code, for example, you can choose between a slash and a dot. Well, no. In where I looked, pretty sure there wasn't that. But to be fair, it was just a GitHub repository where you just install the font, and there was no option like slanted 0, for example. Some other fonts did have that. That one didn't. Hack, specifically. Yeah, even in Cascadia Code you can switch. I've looked at Cascadia Code. It's a fucking meme. God, it's so ugly to me. Like, I can't. The same way that I can't with this font, because I just really hate the exclamation mark, and even more so, I hate the 0s. So, where am I at currently? Using JetBrains Mono, which at first I was like kinda, like, it's okay. But the more I look at it, the more I like it. I remember on their website, they actually say that, oh, we made it in a way where you like glide through text. And I definitely see that, that's true. This feels very glidey. However, I'm a Vim user, a Linux user, kinda, trans person, and insert other like special, I guess, things. Using such a default font, such a overused font, that's just lame. So I want to find a different font, which isn't this one, but is also good. Thick? Is it? I guess it is. I really like their idea with making lowercase letters taller, and I guess that's why it feels thick. I can definitely see why people like this font, because it's a very well made font. So with this one and the others, well, not that one, with Hack, with Roboto Mono and Mislo LGM, all of them had one issue. Were good in one part, but bad in other. All of them pretty much bad in symbols. I like the dot line instead of 0. Makes it easier to yeah, exactly. If it just If a font doesn't have that differentiation, that's like a big no-no to me. Some fonts are so weird, even capital I and small I gets confusing. I hate that as well. Consoles, the font that I've been using for a really long time. Well, I'm not in Consoles right now, but basically it has a very clear distinction through everything. I was never caught up trying to understand what character something is because it was very, very obvious. So yeah, if a font doesn't differentiate between like special characters, I don't even consider it. Wait, how is JetBrains Mono overused? What are you talking about? I talk to a lot of people on Discord. Like, I meet some new cool person. I'm like, oh, I gotta like talk to them, see their experience, like what they're interested in terms of programming. I talk to them, and God, the most like used font. When you ask people the question, "What font do you like the most?" or "What font do you use?" the most common answer is JetBrains Mono. And I just don't want to be lame like that. I mean, to be fair, I use VS Code. What's lamer than that? Nothing. But still, I don't want the same case to be applied to JetBrains Mono as well. Because at least with Consoles, people never mention it. I've never seen anyone mention it. But JetBrains Mono, absolutely. A lot of dick riders, I guess, for this font. And I see why. Like, it's a good font. Absolutely. I just don't want to be lame. Well, okay, to be more real with you, I'm still not happy with how the text looks. Like, it's not my style. For the terminal, it's exactly what I want, and I love it a lot. So I'm probably going to stay with JetBrains Mono in the terminal. But in VS Code, I would rather have something a bit else, a bit different. Maybe something like hack, but with good symbols. I don't know anyone who uses JetBrains Mono. Well, here we go. Another very different thing between the two of us. People use the North font version pretty often. Yeah. And by the way, I'm going to be going through a special GitHub repository that patched a bunch of fonts. And that's how I found some of these, by just going through it and looking at different fonts. But technically, I don't even have to install nerd fonts for VS Code because of this. I can install any font and special characters will still be displayed in VS Code as normal. But for the terminal, I actually do need to install a special patched font. Otherwise, some things won't work, like this, for example. And this just straight up doesn't work, even though it used to, which is strange. Okay, at the end, can you do a Mona Lisa review? I looked at it, and it's bleh, like bleh. I disliked it. So let me look at it right now. The most overused coding font I know would be Firacode. Yeah, Firacode I would want to use even less than JetBrains Mono. And now, not only for it being overused, but also for it being so ugly, in my opinion. Like, I've looked at it and I got a physical reaction just pulling me away from it. I was like, fuck. For some reason, it was like really ew to me. And comic code, I can't understand how people use that unironically. Maybe I looked at the wrong one. Let's look at it. Comic code font. So I imagine this is the font. Let's make sure. So font family is overridden. Font family inherit. So it isn't. I have never used comic code. I think you shouldn't. Oh, so it is that. That is straight up crazy. What is this Y? Let's actually zoom in so you can see more clearly. What is this? What is this? What is this even? It feels like... Do you feel like you're being rotated by this font? I feel like I'm being rotated to the right. That's so strange. I've heard of comic... Oh, hey, Amy, I remember you. I've heard of comic code. Is there a version that you buy or something? I hope not. This is not worth any money. Okay, no. I'm a leftist at the end of the day. All work deserves pay. But maybe if you decided to make comic code, it's probably not because you wanted money. It's because you wanted to... Because you are insane and you want an insane font. That's probably the case. Comic code is pretty good if you're dyslexic. Ah, really? Now, I'm not dyslexic, although I'm a streamer, and so that's already like half of it. I've noticed that I'm very bad at reading when I'm streaming for some reason. Okay, coming back. Not sure how dyslexia works specifically, but if that's the case, then yeah, absolutely. Full power to those people because, yeah, if it helps you read, then sure. But to people without dyslexia, or at least to me, this looks like ridiculous. It's like Monotype meets Goth Kid. I mean, kinda. It's quirky. It's very quirky. I look at every single letter and I have something to say about it. That's how this font makes me feel. Hi. I heard of it from a guy called Wolfgang's channel. Maybe I have as well. So currently I have YouTube Studio opened. I'm not sure if I can just like go to YouTube. I'm so scared. Like, will this just... You know, about no. Chat will disappear as well. Okay. I don't know. It's probably in my like watch history. I was watching like videos on fonts you should try out. And obviously the ones that are always mentioned is Fira Code, JetBrains Mono, and one of them was Comic Code. And I thought that, okay, maybe it's not that bad. I looked at it, yeah, it's that bad. Okay. Like, very not my thing. And as I already explained, just open a new tab. I mean, yeah, that's what I did. But I would rather learn, if I even can, close this tab. You know? Because usually I just have one YouTube tab opened. Almost always. So the big thing that I want is for a font that makes text a bit more texty and symbols are like okay. Symbols look good. So Hack so far has the best texty looking text. Horrible symbols though because of the 0 and exclamation mark. Robotomono has 2 small symbols. MesloGM has big symbols, which I like, but the text is just worse than even JetBrains Mono. Okay, what exactly is Nerd Fonts? Is it a font engine like... No, it's basically, here in the terminal, sometimes your prompt will want to use special characters. To use those special characters, you need a nerd font that patches those special characters into your font. So you can use it with your prompt. Basically, things like connectors are in nerd fonts, and that's why you usually want one for your terminal. In terms of VS Code, that's not really needed at all, I think, unless you specifically use it, or unless like you use a terminal here, in which case, yeah, you would need a nerd font as well to make this work. So that's why you use nerd fonts. So if you don't need special symbols, you can just install a font normally and not worry about it. Or if you specifically only use the VS Code terminal, then what you have to do is just install symbols nerd font, and anytime a special symbol is not recognized, it will fall back to this font, meaning you can just install normal fonts from then on. As for glyphs, it's like a patched version of fonts that contain glyphs. Yep. Correct. But you know what the thing is? At least about Windows Terminal. Maybe that's not the case in like better ones. You can only pick one font. There's no such thing as font family. I've even looked at the JSON file. No such thing. You can only pick one font. And that's probably not only the case with this terminal emulator, but also other ones. Meaning that you kind of have to have it all in a single font. For VS Code, it's not an issue because you have font family. But here now, you don't. Font awesome? What do you mean? Maybe. Seems like reinventing the wheel. With some apps, I guess you have to. It's like in one place, so it's more convenient. Kinda, yeah. If you like set up a new system somewhat often, it's going to be easier to just pick a font that you always use that already has those symbols, rather than having to split it up to another font that is a fallback. But if you switch between fonts constantly and you don't stay on one font for long, then yeah, the fallback situation is probably better. Even in GNOME terminal, you can pick, damn. Well, I guess, is that like the built-in terminal emulator? In which case, I would imagine you couldn't, because usually the built-in thing is shit compared to the other options that you might have. Yeah, it is dumb. It's not like GNOME software usually has, yeah, exactly, that's exactly my point. So I didn't really expect that. Same. I wonder if my emojis look different. No. Okay. Yeah, the more I look at JetBrains Mono, the more I like it. Which is a bad thing, and I should, like, speed up in trying other fonts. I don't want to be a normie. I'm already a normie with VS Code. I should limit my norminess. So I left at Meslo. So that was Meslo LGM. There are like multiple variants of that. So let's open it. There is MS, which is the recommended font by per level 10K. I'm not sure why you would need that information, but like here you go. No, a bit like this. Okay, cool. And I have no idea what these variants mean. I imagine it's like, this is medium, small, large what? I don't quite get it. Well, GNOME, I have no idea, by the way, how to pronounce GNOME correctly. GNOME, right? GNOME's built-in software isn't bad. They don't have many features, but that's by design. That's exactly what I would expect from it. KDE usually goes the opposite way, where it's set on features by default. I honestly like when you have a full-on system, having everything come in with built-in everything is a bit too much. Kind of like Windows, it goes built in with TikTok. GNOME? Yeah. GNOME. Right, all those fucking Linux YouTubers say it like that, and I always found it weird. Like, GNOME? Bro, that sounds weird. Yeah, so basically the approach of most things coming kinda limited, for you to be able to decide that you actually want the extended functionality and install the thing, kinda like on Arch, I like that approach more. And I say that even though I use VS Code for the reason that it has a bunch of stuff built in. I'm a complicated girl. Yeah. Maslow people and their grandparents keeps recommending that all over the internet. Do you mean like the font? It's okay, the font, but where is it? It just doesn't look as good in terms of text even compared to JetBrains. So it's like not really worth using. The G is pronounced canonically. What are we watching? One Piece? Oh, actually, this is canon. Come on, that's so lame. We Linux users are so lame. I mean, yeah. So with GIF, that explanation makes a lot of sense. Because, well, yeah, graphical, and then there's an I, so it's a very, like, it's easy to say, it's very reasonable to say, GIF. And GIF just is a sound that never exists, pretty much. But GNOME, you're like stumbling over the word while you're saying it. I find it like strange to say. Most Linux YouTubers are trash anyway. Let's go, fuck them. Doesn't matter how you pronounce it. I kind of agree, honestly. A lot of them are either elitists or lame. Not gonna name any names, but that's usually the case. Either that or that. The exceptions are rare, or at least I haven't found many. The Linux cast is overall very good. I wouldn't call him an elitist, at least not often. He's pretty like humble, I guess, down to earth. And what was my other alternative? I forgot. Unlike in the English word gnome. Like, why are we making it different? We're like Americans that name their children Jessica with a G. Why are we doing that? Just be normal. Exactly. Like, we don't have to be this lame. It's not like in some rule book. And if it is, why are we reading a rule book on how to be a Linux user? That's twice as lame. I use WSL, that's Linux enough. And plus, I will eventually switch to Linux. I include myself, because if I'm not going to include myself, who will? Why? What happened? Did you like decide to edit something? In which case, yeah, fair enough. Or maybe like you needed Photoshop or something, otherwise I don't see why. Or in terms of games, just don't play games, lol. Yeah, pretty much. Because that sounds sad. Most of them don't know what they're talking about. Hun, you're talking about me. Look at my Linux videos. Usually, a lot of them are like me just discovering something and showing it off, I guess from the perspective of a new user, and I think that's valuable in terms of content. But you're explaining me right now. And think just because they use Linux, they know how software works and their opinion is always correct. This is the issue. Like, this I find very much the issue. They have this like elitist face of this is absolutely correct and there is no other opinion. When I'm not like completely sure about something, and there are not many things that I feel like I'm absolutely correct about, I usually make it clear that this is like, I'm not sure. This could be false, but that's what I think. So people don't like believe me that easily. But when people are absolutely sure, that's when you should doubt them. But I do think that V1 is horrible. That's one of my... It's not even a hot take. It's correct. Oh. See? Caught myself. It's just correct. Yeah. Exactly my point. Wait till she learns about what Elon named... Yeah! It's so ridiculous. That's the most fucking American shit ever. And he's supposed to be African, like, to start with. Yet he, like, built himself into an American so much, forgot the word for it actually, like, encapsulated himself into America properly. I forgot the word. Basically, he became so American that he named his kid that. Goddamn. Be normal. The person who didn't want to use jetpack. Well, no, actually, my point against it is not that it's too normal, it's actually the opposite. The font looks... Fuck, I even will get my headphones to make this funny sound effect. Trust me, it's worth it. Hold up. Gonna enable sounds, and something like this should be good. Okay, so JetBrains Mono sounds like this. Me having my headphones on, section finished. I don't understand why neighbors just one day decide to be a menace and just start drilling. And it's never when I'm free, though. Okay, I'm biased on that. It's sometimes when I'm free. But I started streaming and the neighbor's like, yep, sure, that's the time. Yeah, basically, JetBrains Mono looks a bit like that sound effect. And that I don't like. That specifically. I want my font to look more texty. The symbols I want for programming, but the text I want more texty. So it's not actually because it's too normal. It's because it's too not normal. No NVIDIA drivers are pain in the butt. Oh, and games too, yeah. So my solution about the latter thing is just not playing games. I don't even have Steam installed on my system. After I reinstalled Windows, I just didn't install Steam yet. So just don't play games. Proton is that like a driver? Open source NVIDIA drivers are good too. Is that the case? I remember hearing something from the Linux community that they're like, you almost have to use non-open source NVIDIA drivers. Is that not as much of the case as I thought? Plus, isn't NVIDIA open sourcing some of their... No, definitely not. I find it very hard to believe. V1 sucks is not a hot take, it's an auto hot take. Fuck yeah, exactly. I love that. Yes, they recently OS'd. Oh, really? Well, that's surprising. But still, there are usually glitches, it's just too many steps. Yeah, the WSL is kind of less complicated in user-friendly manner, in my opinion. Absolutely. WSL has like a few limitations, and they're not limitations that are in any way difficult to like figure out. It's just sometimes you'll have to do an extra step, but it's very obvious and simple. So it's not too bad. And you get the most important part of Linux, the shell apps, terminal applications. The most important part, though, of Linux, configuring how your system looks overall, you don't get, which is why I want to switch to Linux. Because I don't like the taskbar on Windows, for example. I think it looks ugly as fuck. Why is there a war horn going in the background? That's my neighbor just drilling a wall for some reason. I hope he stops very soon. Yeah. Proton is a fork of wine, so it's a translation layer to play Windows games on Linux. Oh, okay. Huh. Turns out. The only problem I've ever had with Nouveau drivers hello is a minor display in Linux on what was the most recent release. I'm such a streamer because I'm very bad at reading. The only problem I've ever had with Nouveau drivers is I'm gonna continue saying it like that, is a minor display Linux, don't understand the sentence, on what was the most recent release. Other than that, I've never had a sorry Amy for making fun of you. Sorry. Hello, can you help me with a problem I have on a hotkey? No, I'm streaming. And not on a hotkey until I look at a bunch of fonts. How many? So starting from M+ to basically you can expect me to not. But I have like 100 something videos in my channel. Maybe you can watch them, learn the concepts, and help yourself. Wow. Misha. Finally, being a Discord mod is not enough. That's like not fun. Banning people for violating Rule 5, that's like, whatever. But being a mod in a YouTube chat, that's where you can feel the power. I don't mind it necessarily, but I don't think... can you unban him? I guess you press Alt and... oh, so you deleted the message. Oh, so, okay. Sorry, man. We didn't mean to be this, like, harsh. You can, I mean, yeah, but the biggest part of the taskbar, what I want to do is make it smaller. Pretty sure I can't do that on Windows. I don't necessarily like having this button here. Some symbols I never want to see, and I'm not sure if I can hide them permanently. I can't just show the date instead of time and date, I think. Basically, there are a few things that you can't quite change, and even after you do, they're not quite what I want. When on Linux, I have more choices. I remember seeing Tsoding specifically. First of all, his thing is on the top. Now that I can actually do. But it was way thinner, and I'm pretty sure you can't do that on Windows. That was a mistake, I'm sorry. God, I've never had chat go on so fast that I can't catch up to it. Rising Linux is like, I know, but I feel like I'm already so deep in liking configuring things that I might as well do it the full way. Issue, not Linux. Okay. Your screen got wet? Lol. Very relatable. I have a font ooh, source code yeah. I've tried it out. I didn't like it for some reason. Pretty sure I just didn't like it, which is why I don't even have it installed, I'm pretty sure. Let's look at the regular. And the way I look at fonts is just open and then I see if I want to. Huh. No, I don't dislike it. Now I don't understand why. Like, what was my issue with it? Huh, okay. Well, in this case, I'll install it. Hold up. Jesus. What did you say? He asked for help with AutoHotkey. Yeah. And Mish is like, no, my streamer doesn't help. Absolute egoist. I mean, that's true to some point. Like, the reason why I started my YouTube channel to begin with is so I can help with less effort. I was really often in the, like, very active, I should say, in help channels on Discord. But having to explain the same concept over and over again to different people and have to deal with their, like, their skill level, I guess. Like, they absolutely have a right to be a beginner, to learn. But that often annoys me, which I don't like. And because of that, it's easier for me to create a YouTube video that has everything explained, so I can just send it as an explanation and feel like I've actually helped. Because, well, technically, yes, I have. I just didn't put in the effort. That's pretty much the foundation of the reason why I have a YouTube channel. It's so I can help without helping. Pardon, pardon, abuzie, we shall evolve. Oh, wait, I thought pardon, you mean pardon, pardon. Wait, basically excuse the Spanish. God, why am I making fun of two chatters now? Sorry. Didn't realize it was a part of the name. That is so surprising that, like, you can use the @ symbol to add someone with a space in their name. That is surprising. We already have the war horn, might as well. True. I guess that's the reason why it's happening. Soding uses i3WM. His taskbar is on the bottom. Oh, and he uses the default i3 one. The thing on the top is just the window title. Oh, really? Interesting. It had some other useful information on it, which I guess you can configure as well. Well, basically, I want to make my taskbar, I think, even 2 times smaller. Let's try to see if that's the case or not. Let's try to lock the taskbar. And what I hate about Windows is it doesn't automatically move the windows up. No, instead, this part is just hidden now, which is stupid. So this is about the middle. Oh yeah, at least. Yeah, I want to make it twice as small. Yeah, and like I imagine you can do it on Linux, right? I mean, yeah, happens, especially if you want to like type very fast, so you're more like on topic with whatever. You end up typing with more mistakes, so very understandable. She short and what? And it's oh wait, is that a reference to the 418 HTTP request error? Short and stout. No, maybe I like it. I don't quite remember why I didn't. Maybe that was because I'm not sure. Basically, we'll look at it. We'll look at it. Most definitely. Maybe I'll like it. Like more than JetBrains. The dot, if it's just a dot, I can handle it. Like it's not the end of the world. But I would rather have slanted zeros. And by the way, if any of you guys have font suggestions, please give them to me. I'll try out your font, see if I like it or not. Which Vim extension in VS Code do you use? Good question. I use the, wait, where was I? I think Control 6. No. Wait. I have a commit message that says "Мужик с ананасом вместо головы." It's a Russian, I guess. Well, the word is anecdote, but anecdote in English means a different thing from anecdote in Russian. Basically, it's a Russian joke, which I'm not sure how to translate, so I'm not going to. You could try Googling it, maybe someone else like translated it correctly. But yeah, okay, so I think Control 5, yeah, that's so much better. Basically, the extension that I use is VS Code NeoVim. And I have a whole playlist on it actually, and I'm going to link it in the description instead of putting it in the chat, so you don't immediately leave. Please don't. Okay, VS Code NeoVim playlist. NeoVim something something. Yes, this. Well, yeah. So you can check it out after you're done with the stream. The first video on there is comparing the Vim extension for VS Code and the NeoVim extension, which is what I use. The TLDR is Vim extension works immediately and is very like, you don't have to fuck around to try to make something work, but VS Code NeoVim is far more configurable, works better and faster. Where was I? Can you please show me the best thing you did without a hotkey? Sure, that's a good question. I'm gonna show the most impressive thing and the most useful thing. The most useful thing is my win class. So currently, I am going to be pressing Alt-A. So VS Code is active right now. I press Alt-A. It's now not active. I press Alt-A again. Currently, it's not the active window. Now it is. And if I closed it and press Alt-A, it runs VS Code. So it's one of the methods in the win class that basically lets you provide a single hotkey to go between windows and do whatever you want with them. Yeah. Oh, I find it interesting that this is still considered the browser window somehow. Okay, so basically, yeah. I find this very cool. This shouldn't be considered the browser window, so I'm surprised that it is. I'll have to fix that later. Well, yeah, so basically this lets me go through windows very easily. Like I'm pressing Alt-A, Alt-R, Alt-T, focuses chat, Alt-C, browser, Alt-S would open Spotify right now, Alt-Q, Discord, and so on. And I find this incredible. And it's written pretty well, where you can take one win object and do multiple things with it. Very, very like useful. And it's probably the most useful thing that I've ever made, at least in my opinion. In opinions of other people, maybe it would be info. Info is incredibly useful. Okay, so when class series, it's also a playlist that you can watch. That's what I consider the most useful thing. Yeah, so that's the most useful thing. The most impressive thing at some point used to be file system search, and it kind of still is. Yeah, I guess that would be still. No, actually, by this time, info is more impressive. No, not this. This. Basically, I guess this is better. It's a way to display essentially notifications. And I'm also gonna leave that in the description. One day I'll catch up to the chat and actually get to trying fonts out. Infos. I don't quite get. Oh, because it's still considered a browser window. God damn. That's unfortunate, but maybe maybe there are like automatic captions on my videos. I'm not sure. Lock taskbar doesn't do what you think it does. Yeah, that's the thing, and it's bad. Wait. Oh, I guess it does a completely different thing. That's what you mean. Okay. I, at the very least, can see the option immediately here, and I guess you have to go to settings and so on. But regardless, even if I like, if it moved the windows, it still looks ugly and I don't want it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Prevents you from moving stuff around inside the taskbar. Oh, it doesn't prevent the taskbar from hiding automatically. Yeah, makes sense. Useful, I guess. Self-plug. That's how I got like the start of my audience to begin with. I was just sending links, and that's why my linker, which is another one of my videos, and that's actually what I'm using right now to paste those links. Linker. But it like activates this thing, which is just funny. Like that is still considered, I'll need to fix it. This is considered a browser window and it really shouldn't be. Wait, was that some fancy clipboard manager? Not quite, because it's not fancy. Technically, yes. Registers. Another thing, once again. So registers is basically a way to manipulate a bunch of files as if they are clipboards. So if I like copy this word to my like actual clipboard, you can see that currently it's spots. Then I can press a special hotkey and then choose a letter into which I'll place that. So now in regh we have spots. And basically I can do multiple different actions on them. So it's kind of like a clipboard manager, but both better and worse. It's different. I just realized is the Gruvbox theme I recently fell in love with. Yeah, it's so like calming. Yeah, it's very calming and I guess welcoming. I would use that word. Like it's very welcoming and it's like it hugs you, you know? So it's very nice. I used to use Eve theme before, and it's quite a lot more contrasted, first of all. It's more blue, and It's also not as advanced, I guess. And it doesn't hug you nearly as much. You can see Eve theme in my like pretty old at this point videos. Because before that theme, I don't think I used any other one for any amount of time. I used that like for a really long time. But then Pyro taught me that, do you know, there's actually this thing, Gruvbox material, and I fell in love with it. And at this point, I just don't even know what you're talking about. Because I'm so like... That's funny. Okay, what is a browser window? Oh, yeah, it is a browser window, correct, but it's not supposed to be recognized as one in my Win class, essentially. So if I go to Win, SCR, so basically this shouldn't be considered that. And I think I even know how to fix it. First of all, let's go to app. Oh, because it's not there, it's in actual Win and not in SCR, but utils. Okay, we go to app, if not min max, so min max, exclude title. If Win active, this Win title, but not exclude title, then if not activate another, we minimize. What about minimize? Win title. I'll make sure to provide exclude title just in case that's enough to make it work, which might not be the case. But it's not really that important right now. Can't you just do win plus 1, 2, 3? Yeah, but it's much more... Okay, I'm gonna try to come up with a good example. It's like eating soup with a fork. You are already losing because you're eating soup to begin with, and I hate soup. I think it's just a waste of food when you could literally make something more tasty, easier. So not only are you eating soup, you're doing that with a fork. That's what using Windows plus numbers is. You know why? Because, look, I press Alt-R, no shitty-ass taskbar ever appears. No shitty-ass taskbar ever is orange, usually. I straight up disagree. Soup is the worst idea. Okay, I understand that at some point people were really poor and I guess making soup was very efficient. Doubt on that, but okay, fair enough. We're not hungry anymore. Like, we have food. Why do we still use soup at all? It's just blah, blah. It's just worse. You could, like, just cook potatoes. Bro, just cook potatoes and that's it. Yeah, so first of all, no shitty ass taskbar ever appears. And yeah, basically you don't get to see it. You don't interact with the Windows kind of like window manager because you do things more directly. And because of some things being more direct, it's also more responsive and faster overall. And also, you can put in different actions that you want to do when you run the app, activate it, minimize it, whatever else. So for example, on Steam, when you open it, usually you will see basically the news page. You could make it so that news page is automatically closed as soon as Steam is opened, very easily with the Win class. And naturally, you can't just pressing Windows plus some number. And to add to that, I want to be able to use Windows plus numbers as hotkeys in other places potentially, rather than for this. And also, Windows 1 isn't that nice to press compared to something like Alt-R. Jesus, I talk so much. Really? Huh, maybe that's the case, because you can make it bigger, which I find very funny. Like, you would not have opened that many apps. Well, maybe some people do. Maybe, yeah, maybe it locks that as well. Ah, yes, more links, true. I use the One Dark theme, and I haven't found a single person who likes it. Let's check it out. Like, I imagine it's on VS Code too. One Dark. Now let me know if this one is not that one. Okay, it's probably Pro, but tell me if that's not what you're talking about. It doesn't help itself. It doesn't help itself be visible. No, I like it. It looks good. I was never a fan of variables being red. I turned that off. But yeah, it looks good. But I do like something a bit more warm though. Lol. I don't know what the correct one is, probably both. Fair enough. But before that, we need to set a baseline. Do you eat soup or drink it? You eat it because it's food. Yeah. You drink a drink, you eat a food. So you eat soup. Yeah. If someone considers soup a drink, maybe technically they're correct. But it's, at least for me, it's never about being technically correct. It's being practically correct. And calling it a drink is not practical. I used to use One Dark when I used VS Code like 4 years ago. And now let me guess, you're a NeoVim user or something of that sort. Maybe Emacs? I don't know what the correct one is, probably both. Oh, right, I already read that. Many people hate that the fields are highlighted red. As do I. I think that looks like, that's way too much. Yeah, he's the Kotlin guy. Meanwhile, just love how mutable stuff is italic and that's really cool. But that's more like, basically, the thing that lets you do that is not the theme, it just sets the colors. It's actually your LSP that lets you do that at all. So you can accomplish that in any theme, Gruvbox material as well, if your language server actually gives you that information. So it's not really the theme's like fault, I guess. But you drink fruit soups. I don't. I don't. Pretty simple argument, but quite unbeatable. Yeah, I saw your videos. See, you have fans too. Emacs is trans? Emacs is trans! Imagine. No, Emacs isn't trash. If you, like, without evil mode, yeah, like, what are you even doing? Not using NeoVim, at the very least, motions. But if you enable Emacs motions, it's just a better NeoVim, more or less. I doubt that I'm gonna move to Emacs anytime soon, considering that VS Code exists. But if I had to full-time something, it wouldn't be NeoVim by itself, it would be NeoVim inside of Emacs probably, for like best of both worlds. Use something better. Some people have the argument of, oh, I'm just a beginner and like I don't need that much power, but that's exactly where VS Code comes in the most. With something like VS Code, you get so much help that even for something simple, doing stuff is much easier. And that's if you don't even use NeoVim. If you use NeoVim, goddamn, you feel so like helped and comforted compared to having be precise with everything. Like, I'm not sure how most things are spelled, probably not a hotkey, because that's done for me, and I have to type far less, and so we're all more comfortable. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, so continue making videos. You can clearly see that someone actually likes them. I used to be a prolific WordPad user, but just switched to Notepad this year. I remember not knowing the difference for a really long time. I guess because I didn't use them that much. Basically, consider using something better. If you do programming, you'll help yourself very much. Why would I want games in a text editor? I mean, you don't have to play them. It's cute. It's kind of like this is cute. I mean, sure, you can say, I don't need this. Like, yeah, obviously you don't. It's cute. Same about games. And also Emacs is trans. I mean, come on, girl. Like, don't you want to support your own? I would. At least for that reason. I would have my own headcanon that Emacs is trans. Yeah. It was supposed to be a joke, but okay. Oh, really? Sorry, I'm just such a nerd that I really often don't get jokes. I'm just like lasered into facts that I miss simple jokes. Okay, I got up to the chat. That's the first time that ever happened. Let's actually look at the font that you suggested, because I thought I didn't like it. Turns out it's actually good. Crazy. So we take bold, italic, and bold italic. I don't plan to install all of them because what app even displays all of them? Like in VS Code, I've never seen something like want to use like very bold or light or anything. Never seen that happen. So like, not sure why I would want that. I was downloading the mono variants a lot of the time and didn't realize that I was fucking myself over. I'm gonna tell you what's the difference in just a sec. Basically, if we do fish, wait a billion years, now the symbol is actually pretty much 1.5 characters and looks, in my opinion, much better than it did as a single character. So if you use the mono fonts, it will be a single character, and if you use the non-mono, then it's going to be 1.5. That's only for specific symbols though. And in this like repository, doesn't quite apply to everything everywhere. Like, looking at this, I like this font. And looking at the symbols, I love the period and the colon and semicolon and comma. These, like, so far, looking at everything, I like it all. So I'm not quite sure why I discarded it. And I wonder what's the reason. I guess we'll see. Or maybe I just missed it. Thank you, goodbye. Have a good day, I guess? Yeah, day. And it was bold italic. Or as I like to say, a bold Italian. I immediately forgot what the font is actually called. Sauce Pro NF. Okay. Sauce Pro Code Pro NF. And let's paste this in. So it's not going to work yet, but it's going to once I reboot. Thank you. But if you can, come back. Bald Italian, that sounds like a new Hollywood movie name. It does, and it sounds hella epic. Okay, first of all, is this still JetBrains Mono, or is it Source Code Pro? I'm not quite sure. Okay, let's try. Does it change? No. Maybe that's because it didn't work for me. That's possible. So this is JetBrains Mono still. Did I install the... I did install the regular one. Source Code Pro. Well, call me confused because it just doesn't want to. It's the sauce, but it's called that. And I remember ignoring that and typing in source. But maybe Source Code Pro. No. What if sauce but no NF? Is it like, I don't know, not supported? All the other fonts are like fine. I am overly confused about this. Or maybe I specifically need to install all of them for it to work. Is that a crazy idea? And yeah, it's explained here, by the way. Really? Did you like just try out installing this? Very, very weird. Okay, well, sure. Did I close and reopen it? That's the question. I think I did, right? And this is still JetBrains. It could be a Windows issue where, oh, you have to reboot Windows for this font to be available, in which case, obviously not. If you could somehow continue streaming while rebooting a system, which sounds like a very Linux thing, then it would be great, but it's probably not the case. Okay. Let's install everything. I don't think you need all of them, just replace an F. You could be right. You could be very much right. Okay. Nerd font. What? No, hold up. And down as well. Why is the font called NF, but VS Code requires it to be nerd font? I don't think that's VS Code's fault. I think it's the font name's fault. That's crazy. Okay, now about whether I like it. Immediately what I noticed, we can probably just do it like this. JetBrains Mono is kinda like more bold by default, which I like. This feels more anemic. Not quite sure if I enjoy that or not, so that's a bit too anemic. Looking at code, it's very anemic. Yeah, I don't know, I had the same issue with multiple nerd fonts. Really, that's the first one I've had this issue with. With other ones, I haven't. I just typed in NF and that worked. So yeah, it feels very anemic. Yeah. So that's like, let's open copy pastas. What about the textiness? It's not necessarily texty. Maybe more texty, but it's still not really what I'm looking for. In terms of text, it's a bit better than JetBrains. Gonna be fair here. But in terms of code, it's too anemic. And that's what I think. But good to know, I guess. Let's make this a bit smaller. Wait, how do I do this? Like this. Here we go. Yeah, not a bad font, a bit too weak for me. Let's rank it. Where would I put it? So Meslo LGM, I like more than that, I think. I use the bold version. Oh, that's like, yeah, okay, I'll check that out. Yeah, that's a good point. JetBrains Mono. Hold up. I'm gonna return in a bit. Need to piss. Oh, that's it. I'm back. So you say you use the bold version. I just wonder, is that like an overall font that I install, or do I have to fuck around to change what it considers bold or not. Okay, well, first of all, Source Code Pro Nerd Font. Where do I put it? I like it less than Meslo LGM. Robotomono is the one with very weak things, right? It's not like I'm ever going to use it. Fair enough. DQCO. Hold up. Fair enough, but then does it choose something else to make it even bolder? Toggle screencast mode. Cool. Like, does it go like super bold when it needs to make something bold? Basically, does it change when you make something even bolder? Okay, so I like it less than Meslo LGM. I think I'm underestimating Consoles at this point. First of all, let's just DQCO and put it after hack. Yeah, if you have the bold version installed, it will pick it automatically. That I'm not sure. It probably mean like make it even bolder. I see. Okay, I'll try that out once I figure out my top list, essentially. So hack is overall my most favorite font out of all of these, except the horrible 0 and exclamation mark. If those were good, I would be using that font and this stream probably wouldn't even happen, or I would be doing something else. So Robotomono I like less than hack. Meslo LGM just feels a bit weird, but it is better than Consoles, I would say. Source Code Pro I like less than Meslo LGM and Consoles, and hack, but not Robotomono. Okay. DQ. Here, right? Okay. Now, yeah, that's my top list right now. So let's try out your solution. I'll just specify it right here. Editor. Actually, I like it a bit more. I started typing and just kind of enjoyed it. Font weight equals bold. Oh, hold up. And now, hold up. Now that's way too much. That's super much. Okay, in this case, let's install all the different things. Bold italic, we already have extra light, light. It can be even lighter. What the fuck? It will just disappear, I feel like. Medium, semi-bold, and semi-bold. Okay, let's start installing and see if I can just set a specific version and for it to auto-pick the correct bold. We'll see. If it works that way, and it should, that would be amazing. By the way, I want to say this. What a fun stream. So many people joined and actually were active in the chat to the point of me not catching up to it. Like, that's so cool. I mean, you're using 26 pixels font XP. I use 18. It's not that bold. I mean, no, it is. Like, that is way too much. Even if we make it smaller, it's still way too bold. Maybe it's not that big, that is still correct. But like, it's still bold. It's duplicate, really? Huh. And actually, font size, that's screencast mode. Might as well move it here. Okay, so I can like easily change that. But so far, let's go back to normal. Now it's like not enough, so I'll install medium, I guess, and maybe that will be what I'm looking for. That's the extra light. God damn. Maybe some people want like super light fonts, and for them that would be an amazing font. Kinda wish there was a faster method to do what I'm doing right now. And there kinda is, but it's more complicated to a point where it's just faster for me to do it manually again. This doesn't have ligatures though. It's not a huge deal to me. So that's one backdraw, but you said you can live without it. Absolutely, yeah. Now medium I like a bit more. Like ligatures are nice, I guess. I'm still not fully sure if I like them or not. I could like take it or leave it. And I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not like super into ligatures. I could be, but instead I'm just like fine about it. Okay, so everything installed now. What happens if I do medium? Nothing. What if I reboot VS Code? It might not recognize medium as a thing. What if we like semi-bold? That is straight strange. That should be working. So bold, it recognizes. Italic, it doesn't, even though it's a thing. 600. Oh. Thank you. How do you know that? How do you just straight up know that? What happens if I... 400 is normal, 700 is bold. Okay. 500, although I might be wrong on thinking that it's different from 600. No, I think that's different, right? Yeah, it is, huh? That is better than normal. Thanks for telling me that, by the way. That's pretty good. Also, the messages don't show up in your chat for some reason. Really? Some messages are automatically deleted by YouTube sometimes, which I don't know why. This has a vibe to it. So it's, first of all, it's a bit more texty than JetBrains. And in terms of code, it's like nice as well. But I still have like a strange feeling that it's not quite that, to the point of I don't quite like it more than JetBrains, surprisingly. So I'm gonna back to normal and DQ and put it after JetBrains, so it's like it's top 2 for me. This immediately looks now less texty, to be fair. Like, this looks weirder, but when you look at code, it's just far more parsable. And maybe that's the entire point of JetBrains and why I eventually started noticing the positives of it. So yeah, thank you for recommending it. Good font, but not quite there, I guess. It feels small. Even if you make it bolder, it doesn't like counteract how small the font is in terms of glyphs, I guess. But a good one. Okay, let's continue on with M+. No idea what this is. M+1. What is 2? Code Latin. M+ fonts are a little nifty font family for everyday use. Well, I guess this. I'm not sure what any of that means. Code Latin X Nerd Font Regular. Let's see what it looks like. It's like JetBrains, but even JetBrainser than JetBrains. It has very much that vibe, and it's not the vibe that I'm looking for to begin with, and so far JetBrains expresses that vibe the best, so I'm not going to be using an alternative pretty much. Lilacs. Pretty simple, just has regular to it. How does this one look? Same thing pretty much. This kind of typewriter drip, I'm not really a fan of. Low key, I want the text part of my font, I want to look like it's not monospaced. So if you look at non-monospaced fonts, I want the beauty of them and simplicity while being monospaced and the symbols being a bit more pronounced, I guess. A lot of variants, huh? Interesting. Oh no, not as many as I thought there were. Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting that sometimes it says sorry about that and sometimes it doesn't. I hate this R. Yeah, it also goes from JetBrains in the way that it approaches things. But this fucking asterisk is up in the sky. And as I can see, there's no ligatures, so it's not gonna plop down, which JetBrains does. And I like that feature a lot. So it's just the worst JetBrains, kinda. So no. Lecton. Actually, this at least sounds enticing. Like, that could be good. Wait. Yeah. Even worse. Like, it has a vibe to it, like, I get it. Some people would like this a lot. I'm not one of them. To me, beauty is a very big part of fonts. Oblique? What does oblique mean? Oblique meaning. I feel like that's the first time I've heard this word. Neither parallel nor at right angles to a specify. So instead of italic, it says oblique. But it's not quite that. It's a different thing. That doesn't sound very good. Or very useful, I guess. Ooh. Looks interesting. Very texty, but feels very... Yes, it feels tall, but a bit more compressed, I think. The symbols look good. Similar to JetBrains, but I think it could be a better one. So I'm actually going to try it out. So we had regular. Yosef Katarm. Okay. So we installed regular. I'm just gonna continue installing the usual ones instead of the variants that I'm not even sure how often you'll see them. Bold italic, that's for incompleteness. Okay. Ooh, this is cute. I was thinking of doing my course today, 2 hours, so I would be free tomorrow, but I feel like I would rather just not do it at all today and stream for longer. That sounds like a better idea to me. Well, the deadline is like 10 days away, and it doesn't really take 10 days for me to complete it, so I can very much afford it. It's just a schedule that I made for myself. Let's try it out. And now I know, thanks to Venom Weed, that if it doesn't work, I just change it to Nord font. And I'm not sure if it works or not. Like, is that the new one or not? Let's see. Jesus, it loads a long time. Nerd font. Oh, no. No, absolutely not. Not even going to use that. It's way too, like, compressed to an insane degree. Like, that's ridiculous. No, absolutely not. What kind of Java developer wants this font? What's the difference? I'm gonna try out the default one, and if I like the idea of it, I'll check out the other ones. I give up. I send the same message. Really? What the fuck? That's annoying. God damn. And the thing is, that's like not by me. In my list of blocked words, I have 0. Haven't needed to block anything yet, so yeah. So that's just YouTube doing that. That's crazy. Maybe there are like some words that can be used as slurs, and that's like blocked. For example, if you use the word trap, pretty sure that's auto-blocked because it's also a slur. Well, not technically, but cis people who like to claim they protect trans people think that trap is a slur, even though it's a completely different term, but whole different discussion. Yeah, YouTube is crazy. I guess since I'm just installing fonts, I have time for this discussion. Traps are not trans people. Can't I say website? You can. Yeah, that's even weirder then. That's just my presumption. Otherwise, I just no idea then. So, cool, so it doesn't even have the italic version. Cool, cool, cool. Why that? Why? And of course, why would it remember its position? That would be stupid and crazy. Yeah, kind of like that. Cool. I was trying to say the NF website you can download easier. Oh, really? What's the NF website? I guess you can't send links because they're automatically blocked, even without me fucking telling YouTube to do that. It just automatically blocks links. Nothing you can do about it. No option. Let fucking people send links. And the only way to let people send links is by making them mods. And we saw today that doing that is potentially not what you should do. Because just some random person get banned for no reason. I mean, yeah, I've just never seen that website. In my searches, it didn't really pop up. Yeah, right, so this doesn't have the italic thing. Maybe in Scalata Go? Really? It just doesn't have the italic version? This one does. I wasn't sending links, I know that. You shouldn't click links either. I mean, I feel like so far I'm a small enough streamer where it's not really a concern, you know? I'm not enough of a target for someone to want to do harm to me. Makes sense? Or am I delusional? It's probably both. Okay, so how does this look? Ooh, I like it a lot. The symbols, quite nice. The 0 is slanted. Okay. Now this looks promising. That's cool. Okay. The name of it is so huge though. Inconsolata. Jesus. Then LGC. Nerd. Font. Oh, I forgot to make it always on top. I mean, give people more credit than they deserve. Do I? There are all kinds of sickos. I guess. Maybe. On average, I believe in people. Not a huge fan of this part of the queue and overall of the italic font, but maybe it's not that bad. Or maybe it's horrible and is just misrepresenting itself. We'll see. What about the bulb though? Right, so about traps. Trap is not a slur to trans people because traps aren't trans people to begin with. Traps are people who act, dress, and so on like the opposite gender while still retaining their gender identity. So, for example, a boy who acts, dresses, and so on like a girl, but he's still a boy though. That's a trap, not a trans person. And cis people who think they are protecting trans people by saying that trap is a slur, they're doing the exact opposite, because it's somewhat transphobia to equate traps, usually in anime, to trans people. It's not the same. Pretty much that, yeah. Just a different term, I guess, for it. And if you just say, like, some person cross-dresses and you're like, oh, they're definitely and immediately trans, well, you're wrong. No. It's not how gender identity works. And you putting on the other gender's clothes and stuff like that, it doesn't change how you feel inside, and that's what matters in your gender identity. Okay, so it should work now. I wonder how it worked. Jesus. Wait, you're telling me that it's pretty much italic by default? Because this is normal, supposedly. No, lol. No. That's crazy. I feel like I'm just gonna eventually just stay with JetBrains Mono and be a normie. IBM Plex Mono. I've heard good things about this font. Only has mono. Alright. Wait. And at the same time, no. I'm immediately confused, but that's okay. Is that normal? Or regular, rather? Italic is controlled by the theme, no? Well, yes. but right now everything is not italic. Just by changing the font that I use, it shouldn't make everything italic. And even if I fucked up and that italic is not actually, like, if I didn't install the regular font and that was my fuck up, I don't like that italic. Way too skinny? Yeah. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. I noticed that too. Like, stupidly skinny, to the point of, I don't believe that. Like, is that the regular one? Are you sure? Turns out, I guess, it's even skinnier than Source Code Pro. Okay, let's look at the... there's that and the mono. What about italic? I don't think I'm gonna try it out, because fucking around with... no, I just hate that, so it's a pretty easy decision. Oh, fuck, no. In a new tab. We have so many fonts to go through. Maybe eventually I'll just give up. That's probably how I go. My other vape finally charged. Hermit. No, that's way too quirky. Way too quirky. Woo! I like this italic though. Kind of quirky, it's a bit different. I don't particularly want my font to be different. I mean, I've used Consoles for 1.5 years, so it's probably pretty visible that I don't want my font to be different, because that's the default. It doesn't have all the options. Huskily, I've tried, it's eh. Hack is unfortunate. Maybe there are multiple variants of hack. A new Van Dank mono, I kind of like it, but not sure. That's the thing with fonts though, right? Like, you kind of like it, but you're like, huh. You kind of need some time to get used to it, because at first I was like, fuck no, looking at JetBrains mono, but the more time goes, the more I like it. Yeah, hack doesn't have different variants. Goho. Like, how am I supposed to understand what this means? I guess here? Mm-hmm. $14 is probably better. Oh, doesn't have all the options. Well, maybe the 11 does. No. What about 14? No. Okay. Yeah, I also guessed that uni is probably Unicode, but then just the random number 14, that's what gets me. Like, come on. Go mono. Jesus, got me scared and hilared. What is this? What is this? That already is way too much, but then you look at the actual font, it's way too ridiculous. I'm not writing a fucking gazette. What's the newsletter, right? Yeah, Fuck no. Way too. I don't like Fira code. Like, I sort of just don't like it. Low key, I just hope some font to impress me. No, way too quirky. This is the stream where I just laugh at fonts and drinking tears of font developers. Deja vu sans mono. That sounds horrible. Oh yeah, that's what I was missing from my life. Serif for coding. Let's go. True. Fuck. And some people actually use those types of fonts. And you look at that and you're like, how? Ooh. Oh, wow. The asterisk is a bit too high up, but I might actually excuse that because the font itself looks incredible. The text of it is incredible. I don't like the single quote that much, but everything else so far seems pretty good. Okay. But Jesus, the name of it, Deja Vu Sans M, it's almost like sarcasm case. Okay, let's copy the name. This is the... I'm surprised no one uses Comic Sans for... There are people, there are definitely people. Some for the meme and some because they're crazy. I mean, comic code exists. So, good enough reason. But as Amy said, it's actually good for dyslexic people, I guess. So, they have, like, a proper reason. But if you don't have dyslexia, then I'm just surprised. What the fuck is oblique? What is oblique? Just use the normal word italic. Like, come on. I like that quite a lot. The font itself looks very good. I hope it doesn't fumble. I like the bold very much. Fuck, this is exciting. And they're also a bit higher up. Fuck, this could be the font. And I hope it is. It is funny though that they use the word oblique instead of italic. But really often you like see a new font, it looks good on paper, and then you actually look at it in VS Code and it looks terrible. So I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. Pretty sure it changed. I could be wrong, so let's remove it and see if it changes. Please load new Vim. Thank you. Yes! I do like that more. Doesn't have ligatures though, but it's not like a huge deal. Dots are small, as well as commas, which is like pretty bad. Yeah, it reminds me of that other font that had very small symbols. But I'm looking at everything else and it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's not as... It's more texty than JetBrains. I like the brackets far more in JetBrains, and commas and periods. Not having ligatures is fine, but the symbols are too small. But I wonder if, like, maybe like it's worth it. It's very much more texty. Okay, let's move it after JetBrains, or I guess just make it faulty and look at the same thing. Looking at text, like, it's immediately very obvious that, oh damn. And code looks more codey, for lack of a better word. To be fair, the dots here aren't particularly big either. Yeah, they're like noticeable, but that's about it. I guess I'm kind of used to more visible dots and periods. With this comparison, that gives it context. Okay, and back to this font. Also has a bit more weight to it. Yeah, when you look at text, it's like way better. In my standards at least. And even this. Yeah, like it looks more texty, which I like a lot. And with that comparison that we just had, the dots and periods being small is not that big of a deal, because that's also the case with JetBrains. They're a bit more visible there, sure, but not to such a big point where it's a huge deal. Like, yeah, I think I could forgive it, I guess. What about that? I mean, not a huge fan, but it's all right. Yeah, I think I do like it more than JetBrains. Feels a bit more human, I guess. The best way to see that would be me opening my diary, but I'm not gonna do that because it's very personal. Yeah, okay, so new font that is better than JetBrains, I think. How does it look in the terminal though? Wait, what was it called? It has a ridiculous name. Deja Vu Sans something something. Yes, this. And it's going to say, actually, no such font. That's okay. Appear. Okay. I feel like it looks a bit weirder in the terminal. Yeah. In the terminal, I actually want to continue using JetBrains. That's interesting. The fact that there's a difference somehow. A hard to explain difference, but a difference nevertheless. I guess I want my terminal to look more terminally, and this is better. But very interesting. I think in normal situations, I want this font more. The cool part about JetBrains Mono, though, is its features. The fact that it moves some characters to align them better. That is like very cool. But now I'm remembering how the text overall looks in my head, and it's not really what I want. This is far closer to actually being that. The dots are so small though. Like very small. But overall, even with that, I feel like I do like it more at the very least. Okay, for comparison, let's move to Consoles. Because maybe it has been the best one still this entire time. This, to give it... Okay, how does all of this look? It low-key makes me almost have to use a bigger font, because Consoles is kinda small. Yeah, I guess what I don't like about it now is that it's very small. When something like this is a lot more vibrant and easier to read. But God, the symbols though. They're so small. Yeah, the more I look at them, the smaller the dots get. Like, this is ridiculous. And this. Honestly, as time goes, I'm getting used to this vibe of JetBrains. The ligatures is like a cool, nice extra thing. The fact that this is now aligned is a nice thing. Hello. Hello, back. And the brackets. The brackets like a very big deal. They look better, they form an O. The dots are more visible, not by a lot, but more visible. The commas are clearer and bigger. In terms of words, this very like long, hold up. Yeah, this very long named font, in terms of word-looking text, it wins, but it's not good enough at symbols to be worth it. Like, this question mark looks so nice. Yeah. A really big part of programming is symbols, and I can't really discount them. Like, that shit is important. I think I looked at enough fonts today. Oh, I definitely looked at more fonts today than I have ever in my entire life. Really? Too much? Interesting, I actually like that height. I think at the beginning of the stream I didn't. So I guess JetBrains is the type of font you're like kinda at first, and the more you look at it, the more you like it. Because it's a very flowy font. But I can definitely see how you don't like it. That's fair. Yeah, I'm slightly, like, slowly getting used to this font. That's interesting. Yeah, kinda tired of looking at fonts today. Very good font. Okay, this is the last one. Daddy time? Seriously. Okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to use it because it doesn't have italic and bold, but Daddy time. Seriously. Does it look like Daddy time? Kinda, in a weird way, I guess. Is that Daddy time to you? The dank monophone, too. This is very much Daddy time. It's ridiculous, but the font looks like it has a mustache. Dank mono, you say? Oh, so it's not here. Okay. Dank mono font. Imagine. Okay. How the fuck do you pronounce this word? No, I'm not even going to try. Fuck no. Oh. It's a paid font. Not here in Google. Well, I googled it. No, that's way too small to understand it. Okay, dank mono, maybe here. Interesting. Too quirky for me. Cool. Ew. I think I've tried it, don't remember it, don't know it. Oh, I see. Okay, I may return to check out these ones in the future, or maybe not. Maybe I'll fall in love with JetBrains Mono like a regular person. It's crazy, like in some parts, I guess, I am like very different, and in some others I use VS Code and JetBrains Mono. Like, goddamn. Like, if a person knows what font they're using, they're probably using JetBrains Mono or Fira Code. If they don't know what font they're using, it's probably Consoles. Okay. Yeah, this looks like, it doesn't look bad. Now I wonder, do I continue streaming? My head is kind of like really foggy. So, different prompt character depending on Vim mode is a similar kind of action. Terminal email client. I'll have to watch a video on that. Non-thread, oh, that's way too effort in my brain. I think my brain is too foggy to be doing much of anything right now. Maybe I should open the window. To like breathe for once. What out of this sounds the most interesting to you? Connecting thing for a 2-line prompt. That's interesting. Tight configure. This looks quite a bit better. What if I nails emoji? Okay, we'll do that. There was some like frame enabled, I guess not here, terminal email client. So I'm basically looking for one. I don't know a single one and whether it even exists, but basically I want to be able to check my email in the terminal. I hope that's a thing. If it isn't, it should be. But first of all, I want to enable the frame of my prompt and see if I like it. How do I... Okay, I guess I do GH first of all. Open GH Tide Wiki. I never heard of them either. I think there is. Terminal, like, email clients. Yeah, I'm surprised that I haven't heard of them, but I feel like it's one of the things that once I mention, everyone is like, oh yeah, obviously I use one. But it's not mentioned otherwise. It's strange. If you can have Spotify for a terminal, you can have email too, I guess. You can have Spotify for a terminal? It's not something that I would do, to be fair. But, goddamn, that's cool. Color, frame, and connection. Icon connection. Yes, frame enabled. So, left prompt. Set -G tide left prompt frame enabled. True. I also like the fact that the fonts match from here and here. It's an easier context switch than having different fonts, which I actually used to do for a really long time. Okay. What next? New fish. Great new fish. That is so weird. But you know what? I kinda dig it. It's super weird. Right? How do you feel about this? It feels like it's some sort of shape, like a magnet having arrows at the end of it. That's so mega interesting. I think I dig it. Let's try GSing. Yeah, I think. The more important question is what happens if the terminal is too small? It still works correctly without breaking. Huh. That's very good. Huh. Interesting. So first of all, yeah, no, I like maternal minimum like starships. As you can see, I like the opposite. Okay, so first of all, let's commit this. Go to .files, the thing that I implemented yesterday. God, I got so angry at it. Okay, let's gam this. Yes, enable frame. Yeah, the more I use JetBrains, the more I like it. Now, before we go and do anything, I want to go to cd config fish functions and glow. Oh, I didn't commit it. Well, that's bad. Basically, I removed the number from shell level. I shouldn't have done that without committing it. Shell level. If this just straight up works, then that's good. So that's why it had a space there. Let's source shell level. Okay, fair enough. What if we do it this way? Really? Maybe it needs to have quotes here. Yeah, and this now looks very good. Much better than the single character that it used to be. And overall, the numbers and the symbols, yeah, fuck. The more I look at it, the more I like this this font. Okay, so the difference here. Bring back shell level number. I guess if I wanted to update now but stay in the same directory, I should open another session rather than exiting this one, so I don't have to go back. With this thing, it's kind of necessary to also have these before the PWD. Have you ever tried starships? I've heard, like, I've watched a video from DistroTube on it. I was like, cool, I guess, but it doesn't have the cool Unicode symbols. I haven't tried it for myself though. I might, because maybe it's faster than what Tide gives me. Not sure. So, the next thing that I want to do is remove this character. Yeah, and just create a new session. It doesn't start immediately. What if I move shell level to before PWD? Same issue again. I remember having it, and I'm still unsure how to try it out. Like, how to fix it. The fact that it doesn't put a space here, but it does here. It does have Unicode, like the icons and all that is there. Huh. Not sure what I'm talking about then. It seemed like basically more of the things you have to configure, and that scared me off to never trying it. But maybe there will be a stream where I will be trying it. Not sure. Depends on how well Fish supports it, I guess. If I can somehow remove the space here, that would be great. What if I put it here? Okay. So very often it will just show up without the number, which is low-key what I want. Yeah, I don't think the config is as vast as Tide. It's very minimal. Yeah, that's a huge issue to me. I rise my prompt like crazy, and it's quite important to me. So the last character here is cut out for some reason automatically, which is a good thing in a way. I get the signifier without having the number, but then if I go into a private session, it starts showing the number. Am I really arguing for using a bug? I guess I am doing that, huh? I don't hate it. That's the thing. I won't often be using private sessions. And usually it doesn't matter how many I have, because it's probably not going to be like that many. So just having the symbol without having to change the source code is very, very good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it that way. It feels like a notification, pretty much. Now, I wonder, how can I remove this space? There's the suffix. What about the prefix? What happens if I do this? Nothing. I kind of hope that the prefix is automatically a space. It's not, unfortunately. It's starting immediately would be great, but I wonder like how that's done. I'll probably have to change source code, but let's see if that's okay. String to separate items, that's not. Items with different background colors, display. Yeah, I think I'll have to change the source code, unfortunately. So let's go to cd, fish functions, yes, and what am I looking for? Prompt, I guess. Fish prompt. Has a lot of different stuff to a ridiculous point. If contains new line of these items, then test frame and connection, color frame and connection dash b, which is not bold, by the way, I think, into read, into local prompt and frame color. So let's actually go there. Prompt and frame color, yes. This and this, column offset. So test that and set top left frame. Okay. String replace echo ns, add new line if you need it. Hold up. Where does this single quote start and end? Top left frame, that doesn't have a space in it. And then we string replace pwd at space with tied pwd. Then prompt variable. So it's supposedly in pwd. Okay, let's go to pwd. pwd icon, split it. Fuck, my brain is like burning. What if I change this? Let's see. Wow, it worked. Okay, that's good. Wow. Fish fun. No, not these. Fish fun. I see why it had a space there then. Because now it starts way too soon. And here it made more sense. Well, in that case, let's go back to fix it. Tide pwd. That space made sense there. Actually, now I realize that having the number is actually very useful. Because right now I don't know if I should be creating another one or... Well, I guess if it's important for me which directory I end up in, then I just create another one and don't worry about it. If it isn't, I Control D until that symbol is no longer there. Okay. So that shouldn't be changed. What if I changed this to from yellow to pink? Now where I am doesn't matter. Okay, that's a new way to approach it. When it was yellow, the contrast from this one not having that yellow felt a bit weird, but now there's like an error here. Arrow. Well, that's pretty nice, I think. Yeah, the command versus output is now, I think, even easier to separate. That's cool. That is cool. I keep pressing to enter twice. I forgot, like, keep forgetting, because I have muscle memory at this point, to press enter twice. I no longer need to. Right, so what did I do? This should be separate, actually. And this can also be... So it's going to be move shell level to right prompt. Move shell level to right prompt. And everything else I can just gamp. Change prompt character to 2, 2, 3, pink. Yeah, I think my brain needs a rest. Wait, a rest? Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Like, even with the yellow things, it was more difficult to figure out where the command started. This is so much better. Fuck yeah, I love this. I wish there was some way to have a half space here. Maybe something like a reversed arrow to here would make sense, but I think it's like, no, it's too much. I think I want to move this back here and make it pink so it doesn't stand out as much, because I don't think it needs to. Putting it before PWD, as I saw, doesn't really work. But here it would, I think. Wait, what? Ligatures work here too? What? Well, not everywhere, I guess. Oh, interesting. It tried to work, but it didn't. So in output, ligatures work. So if I echo this, when they're ligatures work in the terminal, what the fuck? That's so cool. That's so cool. Wait, hold up. What kind of... Okay, I'll paste it here. And they're still separate characters. They just display that way, but they're... Ah, that's so cool. I didn't know that ligatures would work in the terminal. God damn. It's freaky with it. That's cool. So we move shell level there. And instead of yellow, we change it to pink to make it less visible. Wow, ligatures work. What? Mm-hmm. The issue with this approach is that often I will want to look at the last directory and the path that I'm currently in. I used to look at the last pink. Now I can't really do that, and it's harder to... Yeah. So what if I change it to purple? Because I almost never need to look at the branch name. So that is fine. Yeah. Both of them being information that doesn't matter that much. At least for me, I don't really use branches that. I don't remember the last time I used one. It kind of blends in, but it has this unfortunate property of being one color for way too long. Okay, what if it's just yellow? Again. Will that not annoy me? No. No, I like that more than both variants. I'm like okay with that being there, surprisingly. Huh. Alright, I guess. Let's camp this. What did I change? Move shell level back to left prompt, make it yellow. Oh, I didn't commit that change. Fuck yeah, it's so much easier to figure out where the prompt is thanks to the frame. It's actually a big change. Okay, connecting thing for 2-line prompt. Is there anything else that I've already done but didn't realize that I did? No, no. That's pretty easy. Non-thread taking. That I still want to do, I think. What if instead of 2 characters, I just have one? G Control V, 3 down. I feel like I'm the only person who's that crazy about combinations. No, this feels weird. Yeah, this feels kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, I like this more. Okay. So different prompt character depending on Vim mode. Character icon. If this is going to be $signs, replace doesn't need to change, neither does visual. False. Visual needs to be the same as normal because some of the things. You know what? I'll just disable visual mode. That's it. And I'll no longer need to think about it. So now, if I type in V, I just go to NeoVim, which is probably what I should be doing if I try to use fucking visual mode in my terminal. I thought that they were surprisingly fast. No worries, indeed as slow as they used to be. Okay. The reason why I decided to change my prompt character depending on the Vim mode is because turns out it's not reliable to hope for your cursor to be correct. There are situations, kinda rare, but there are situations where your cursor shape is not going to be the correct one. The other thing, so different prompt character, but include Vim mode thinger in Tide. There's a separate thing that shows the current Vim mode, and it might be much faster than changing your prompt character depending on the Vim mode. That's a complete guess, but I could be correct, so I'll try that out someday. But overall, I'm happy. I think I'm gonna go watch One Piece, eat, and then drink coffee. And then I'm actually maybe do the course as well. I don't know. It at least feels like I did a lot today, even if technically that's not the case. Yeah, okay, I'm done. Goodbye, VOD watchers.